Hi, my name is Ray Catull, and you may know me from the such projects as... You may also know me as the host of the internet's favorite harness handicapping show, North American Harness Update, which I host with these two guys, Mike Prebosi and Rod Allums Jr. Every Friday from 9 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us talking harness, handicapping harness, and most importantly, having fun with harness. Can we please get this stuff out of my face? Thank you! North American Harness Update, Fridays from 9 on SRN1. Also download Often Pacing, and using promo code NAHU200K, start your stable with an additional 200,000 coins. You can also catch show archives and racing analysis over at our website, NAHUPicks.com! Hi, my name is Ray Catull, and you may know me from the such projects as... You may also know me as the host of the internet's favorite harness handicapping show, North American Harness Update, which I host with these two guys, Mike Prebosi and Rod Allums Jr. Every Friday from 9 p.m. Eastern...
Hamstring at any point right now, and I thought, I'm too young for this to happen. And it was just the other day too, I went to go bend down to grab something, and I actually felt my back throw out. So the point here is that I don't have much time left, so I'm glad in my final hours of life I'm here on the air talking about, of all things, horse racing. So let's discuss this London Pick 4, Rod and Mike. We have it starting with race number 7, and so do they, because that's what we're going off of. Race 6 is going official momentarily. The one-horse Classic News won the race, and the horse that didn't win the race was the favorite Lumiere, but he did get second. That's not important information for us, however, so let's roll into the first leg of the sequence, as again, it's race number 7. Race number 7, for those who do not have a program opened up, is a $15,000 claiming trot, condition claiming trot, with a tag for an hours of $25,000 lifetime. And Mike, starting with you, you're taking a bit of a stand in this short field. You're singling a horse.
Singling the 6. I just think that this horse is extremely obvious. It's been facing better. Those races against Striking Bull are better than these horses. Draws a little bit outside, but I don't like the 3 much. Really had no excuse last time. Was breaking early. No other real early speed in the race. There's a lot of horses that are chronic losers. The 6 should be either first or second early and dominate the race. I'm keying the 6.
Now, Rod, you are you are going on the opposite end of that spectrum, and you're basically taking all but the 5. Well, that is what you're taking, all but the 5.
No, I'm not using the 7.
Oh, that's right. There's a 7 in this race too.
Yes.
I should know this.
I'm 5 deep.
Still, 5. Yeah, 5 deep.
I'm 5 deep. I just don't trust anybody in this race. The 6 is obvious. He's going to leave. He's got plenty of gate speed to make the lead, but I just think there's a lot of speed in here, a lot of potential speed in here. I think there's going to be quite a few trying to gun for the 2-hole, and it could get a little touchy into the first turn. So with that, I think that just being on the cautious side, I'm going to use 5 horses here and not basically eliminate myself in case that wild scenario does happen where everybody goes out of there. Who's got their volume up so loud? Turn it down.
Okay, but keep talking.
Okay. So the 1, I think, obvious with the rail, should be leaving, protecting rail position. I think if you're going deep, you have to use this horse just because he's got the rail. The 2, last time, has kind of been in between starts week to week here and there. Usually tries to get a trip up close. Should be leaving as well. The 3 I throw on there. This one is another one. Looks pretty obvious. Broke last time. Came back. Made a power move to the front. And just got tired on the end. So I'm going to use, I'm not real keen on this horse either. The 4 I throw on, J-Port Rosita. When she's flat, she's good enough, and she's beat these in the past. And it's just a matter of staying flat for her. Gets a fast track tonight, so I do think that might help her. And doesn't draw the rail. She seems to be a little iffy in the first turn, so she'll be closing if she's flat anyways. And then the 6, like I said, is pretty obvious. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
And oh boy, is it a fast track. I don't know about you guys, but I actually stepped foot on the racing surface before we went onto the air, and the moment my foot hit the ground, I went flying. It's like a conveyor belt fast. But I still found the time in acquiring major injury to look at this sequence, and I'm 2 deep in the opening leg, not really straying towards anything special. I couldn't really find anything outside of the 2 main horses, and one of them's actually a really interesting price as the betting board opens, not being the 3 Future King, but the 6 Lucrative Sun opening at 14-1. That's probably going to change, though, given how early it is in the betting, and also the fact that he's 2-1 on the morning line. But this horse or the 6 and the 3, excuse me, are the 2 that really have the most form in this race. And so long as either the 3 stays flat or the 6 gets towards the front, the race is going to most likely fall into their circumstances. That makes sense, I think, as a sentence. And that said, I have nothing really much more to add because it's the 2 favorites. So I'm 3-6 in the opening leg. Don't really see much form outside of them. Second leg is race number 8, $15,000 claiming Filly and Mare Pace. We got 1, 4, 7 lining up here. And Mike, after signaling in the first leg, you're just taking them all in the next.
Right, because this race, I think anything can win. There's a lot of horses that, even the ones that are in form, like the 2, this horse finished second last time at 54-1. The 3 was 40-1 last time. The 4 was 39-1 last time. All these sort of horses that have been floundering are now put together. So good luck figuring it out. There's not a lot of form. The 9-5 favorites, have been off since December. And, the qualifier wasn't exactly, riveting by any means. I have no opinion. I went short in the first leg. I will use them all in leg 2.
Yeah, Rod, good luck finding anything in this race, even though you totally did. Good luck with that. What makes you think you know this, Rod?
I go 4 deep. The qualifier on the 6 is better than it looks on paper. That track that day was really bad. They were given 4 seconds, so convert it down 2 minutes and change. But I'll start inside with the 1, Brightside Luella. This one is kind of a hit or miss type, but with the rail, I think going to look for a 2-hole trip. There's not a ton of speed in this race. I'm going to use on the notion that he guns out of there pretty quickly and looks for that 2-hole ride. The 2 interfered with last time and there were several in this race that were involved in that. But this horse actually, gained some momentum from the little mishap around the 3/4 pole and raced really well, in my opinion. Finished second, just got beat to New Boston Town, who has won 3 straight and won her way out of the class. So a repeat effort like that should put this horse close once again. The 4, Darney's, was just way too far back, got stuck in that mix, and this one is another one that's kind of hit or miss. A lot of times this horse is right there, and other times the horse just never shows up, and you don't know what you're going to get with this horse. But again, this group is soft, and then the 6, like I mentioned, the qualifier is pretty good. This horse has talent. First start back as a 3-year-old, I think might could need a start, but this is a soft group, so I'm going to throw her on anyways. 1, 2, 4, 6.
Now, I understand the constraints of my literacy, but earlier this evening I went over to NAHUpicks.com, our website where you can find daily racing analysis from Western Fair, the Meadowlands, and Woodbine Racetrack. And Rod, you only had 3 horses listed in this second leg, so I did not have the 1 listed on your graphics. So for those of you at home who've noticed the graphics on Twitter and Facebook, Rod is 4 deep. Don't know how, but he is now. As for me, I'm 2 deep. This is another race where I couldn't really find much, and Mike was right in the sense of there's not a lot of form in this race, so there's a lot of hypothesizing on my part and a lot of word making up also on my part. But let's be honest, if you can try and sound smart, you want to do it in the sport of horse racing. So that said, I'm 2 deep, starting with the 3, PL Kaleidoscope, making her 3rd start after taking a bit of a layoff from the beginning of February towards the end of February, if you really call that a layoff. But her first start back was decent, moving first over, and she hanged a bit to finish 3rd, but she still at least made some kind of move towards the front, going wide around that final turn. Start after that was involved in that outer flow confusion, made, I think, because a horse broke in between horses. She ended up being interfered with enough to finish 8th in that race. I feel like she is a bit better than that last line presents, and also is shortening from the mile and a 16th to the regular mile, so that could definitely help her. And the 4, Daenerys, is the other horse I use. Raced very well last time. She was up on the gate, 2 starts back, launching towards the top, and ended up just kind of hanging around to finish 4th. Otherwise, she's had bad draws either outside or in the 2nd tier, and that's not necessarily her best game. Was also drawing in against decent horses like Apple Tart, Hanover, and also New Boston Town, who beat a lot of the horses in this race coming up. That said, other than those 2, the fact that there's a 9-5 morning line favorite that hasn't raced in 3 months, as Mike said, makes it hard for me to really see anything in terms of odds that would represent the form of the horses, if that makes sense. So that said, I'm going to be 3-4, hoping I can get a bit of a price out of the fact that these horses aren't necessarily appealing on the program, but could have the potential to improve into this race. 3rd leg is race number 9. It's a $15,000 claimer. Again, filly and mare pace. We have 8 lining up here. Starting off with you, Mike. 4 deep. 40.
4 deep. Starting with the 1, Apple Cart, Hanover. This horse has a lot of speed, draws the rail, should be in front early. It's going to be tough to catch, I would think, especially this horse has been blasting from outside spots and, getting the front. Just missed last time from the 2nd tier. Going to be right there. The 2, Honest Gambler, should get a pocket trip, comes back from Woodbine, had bad post there, has a little bit of back class to it, has made 30,000 with 4 lifetime wins. So the horse has been facing better. I think should be able to get a trip in the race. The 6, Rousey Ronda, beat the one last time. It's 1-2 in a row, and just seems to be getting better with each start, but has to draw outside here, and that's going to equal a different for this one. And then the 7, Bad Diva. This is a closer. And, it's Harris. He's been getting horses out of the gate early. Should get some position. I'm hoping maybe can end up second over behind the 6, and then could be live late. 1, 2, 6, 7.
Now, Russ, I have you as being 3 deep. Is that correct?
I am. I'm 3 deep here. I'll start with the 1, Apple Tart Hanover. Looks obvious. Should be leaving right to the front. No way this horse doesn't make the front or the 2-hole in this race. The last start was coming off a month layoff and raced really well, so I'm going to go ahead and use that one again. The 2, Honest Gambler, draws inside, doesn't have much gate speed, but this one's kind of been all over the place. First start over here at London. Could upset this field if this horse does get away well from the gate. And, my opinion is this horse should look right for the 2-hole. And then the 6, Rousey Ronda. She's been good all season. Not a lot to say about this one. I mean, she's been 1, 2, 3 every week this year. So, tough not to throw this horse on. Even with the outside draw, I mean, this horse has just been too good recently, so I'm going to use 1, 2, 6.
I'm the only one of this group who does not use Rousey Ronda, and I feel that, and the reason for that is because looking at that last race, sure, it was a mile and a 16th, so she has a bit of a handicap there in that sense, or an excuse in that sense. But from the rail, only held on by a neck over Apple Tart Hanover. To me, that reads that as the favorite there, that she's potentially vulnerable in this start. And the fact that she's going to be bet still makes me think I can get a bit more value out of this race with a vulnerable favorite. I'm 4 deep then starting from there. Apple Tart Hanover starts me off, but she's pretty obvious, and we've already talked about her, especially with the improved draw, as well as just the fact she's been racing dynamite at this level in her last few starts. The 3 Southfield Spirits, the second horse I used, gained some ground last time out in that Rousey Ronda race with the poor draw to finish 4th, and otherwise has been racing consistently well at the 15 level and makes moves when she has to, either going first over and progressing towards the lead, but otherwise then she does have a tendency to hang, and that's why I was hesitant to use her, but given the right setup, she could potentially swing by horses and win this race. The 4, Northern Lauren, then, is the next horse I use. This one's going to be a bit of a price. Looking back, she has made 1 start here at London, and it was a decent race, finishing 3rd against the 7,000 claimers, and it's an interesting move up to the $15,000 level. I couldn't really wrap my head around why they would move her up in class, but to me that reads as a potentially positive move given that last race. She was locked behind horses, and then once she found room, she gained 7 lengths over the course of that stretch drive to finish 3rd by 2 at odds of the 5-1. And then otherwise, she has some poor miles towards the end of her season at Woodbine last year, which makes me think she could have used the time off and is now starting to roll back into form. So she could be a really sneaky upset horse in this 3rd leg of the pick 4. And the last one I used is the 7, Bad Diva, making her 4th start since shipping up from Rosecroft, and she's been racing very well. I don't see why she should have any problem in against this group, considering, too, she was 3rd last time from post 4, and she should be able to get a nice stalking spot, and that's usually how she races her best. Not only that, but also look at the fact that she debuted here back on February 16th, and she won as the favorite. So she belongs at this level. She can beat this group. She just needs the right trip, and she should be able to work that out from post 7. So I'm 1, 3, 4, 7, taking a stand against the favorite. Final leg, race number 10, 7,000 filly and mare claimer. We got 1 minute to post. That means we got about 4 until the race goes off. So Mike, starting with you, you use the exact same 4 I do, so put words in my mouth.
I'm towards the middle of the game here. The 2, What a Sassy Girl, gets Carol, draws well, was 2nd last time at this level. The 3, Lady Richmond, has won 2 in a row, 1 from outside post, although I think was facing a little bit lesser there. Still a chance. Harris stayed with that one. The 4, Moon Lake, won 2 in a row, then had a perfect trip and, kind of with the barn change, faltered. Now was in a near 50% barn. likely favorite. And then the 5, Bex the Land, won last time from the 8 hole, was claimed, gets Stewart again. You know, this horse is a closer, but if can get a trip, can contend 2, 3, 4, 5.
I could have said it better, but you did a good job, Mike. Rod, you're 3 deep then, taking the same horses as us, but nixing the 2.
Yeah, I'm using 3, 4, 5 here. I thought this race was pretty chalky. And really, I think any of the 3 can win. Just depends on how the race sets up. The 3 is obviously going to go. The 4 doesn't have to go. I think is a little bit better off the pace anyways. But she's been sharp and, you know, claimed 5 out of the last 6 weeks. Every time she's in this class, she's probably getting claimed again tonight. And then the 5, Dexaland, claimed last time. Raced really well first over. I have nothing against this horse. She likes London. So this is definitely one that I think you got to use on any ticket you play. 3, 4, 5 for me.
So then here's my ticket as follows. You thought I threw my hip out? Not yet, guys. Okay, so for 20 cents, I'm 3-6 with 3-4 with 1-3-4-7 with 2-3-4-5. Again, that's 3-6 with 3-4 with 1-3-4-7 with 2-3-4-5. $12.80 for 20 cents. These tickets are on Twitter and Facebook. Mike, your numbers.
6 with 1, 2, 6, 7 with 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 22.40. And I
Rod, your numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6 with 1, 2, 4, 6 with 1, 2, 6 with 3, 4, 5. 36 I played.
Now, what's interesting looking at this betting board is J. Port Rosita was just the favorite at 8-5, now up to 2-1. The 3 Future King back up to favoritism, back down to favoritism at 9-5. 6 Lucrative Sun currently at 3-1, perhaps is 3-1, floated down from 4-1. Anyone on this betting board looking pretty appealing to you guys? At all?
Well, I keep the 6, and no, I just bet the 6 at that price.
Not really. I mean, the 1 is a decent price. If you're looking for a price play, I say the one is pretty good. We gotta give a shout out to Terry Astic at Terry Astic on Twitter. He's watching right now.
Howdy, Patty. Patty? Can I call him Patty? Are we on a first name nickname basis now?
No.
You have to wait like 3 weeks for that, I think, because like you gotta take time for it to process. You know, you should know that as a mailman. It takes a couple of business days to develop.
Yeah.
Allows 6 to 8 weeks for shipping and handling.
Yeah.
Exactly, especially on the handling. But 1 minute 45 seconds to post time. Now, that's a big change. Lucrative Sun is now the 1-5 favorite. So someone dumped $200 in the pool.
Might have to change that ticket.
Yeah.
A lot of people. This was something I was surprised by. It was it was either Monday or Tuesday night at London. They had across the board probably 30 grand bet into the race, and those numbers were surprising me. But then again, they were like the only game in town.
Now, you do know that some people do kind of mess with pools so they can play with offshore wagering and take advantage of those things.
And those are things that are certainly taken advantage of.
Do you understand the concept? Like, say, right now, you could bet $5,000 on the 5 to show if you thought he wasn't going to show. And then offshore, there's no limits. You're not going to affect the pools, so you could bet $10,000 to show on the 6 and collect $10 whenever he pays that after the 5 runs out and the 6 runs in.
I didn't carry the 4, so that didn't add up in my mind.
Okay. Well, other people that know what I'm talking about will get that.
We have 30 seconds to post, and for the first time in the years I've been doing the show, I realize I have this thing on my desk. It's a weird horse statue. This horse, very well crafted, actually. This is a nice.
Are we that bored that we need to break out props you've never seen before?
I'm not a prop comic, all right. I thought this was interesting, and I felt like the people. If there's anything I've learned, not only from the years I've been doing this show, but from the year I've been doing it with Rod, is that no matter what it is I do, I'm a homosexual for it.
Pretty much.
That said,
There's nothing the matter with that, Ray. It's fine.
Yeah, that's the
Own
point
it.
I've been trying to make. It's not necessarily that much of a joke. What is a good joke
Own it.
is an elephant, a circus. London's not a good joke. London is an art form. But an elephant, a circus leader, and a rabbi walk into a bar. What happens next? Find out after this race. From Western Fair, 3 to 5. There's going to be no ending to the story. 3 to 5 on Lucrative Sun, 3 to 1 on Future King, 5 to 1 on Style Spotlight, 7 in line, approaching the start off, and trotting Lucrative Sun, Future King, the two favorites, battle for the top. Style Spotlight gets away third. The High Road shoots up the inside to get fourth around that turn. Moving up then, Ty's Little Dream, then J-Port Rosita, a little rough gated towards the rear. Rising Pressure is last of them all down the back stretch. Future King in front by 2 1/4 over Lucrative Sun second. Third then Style Spotlight from the High Road in fourth. Fifth then Ty's Little Dream. Sixth still J-Port Rosita. Rising Pressure last through a 29-1 opening quarter. 1 6-5 leads the others in second by 2.5. It's Future King leading around the far turn first time to the top of the stretch over Lucrative Sun. Style Spotlight stalks them from third. The High Road back and forth. He's edging off the rails slightly behind him. Then Ty's Little Dream trying to flush cover. And it's J-Port Rosita. Rising Pressure. No movement after a 1 minute 1/5 half, 31 seconds that second quarter, and it's Future King a bit off the rail, but still leading Lucrative Sun into the backstretch final time. Style Spotlight remains in third, a gap now developing as the High Road drops back fourth. Fifth then still Ty's Little Dream, J-Port Rosita not advancing to the inside, Rising Pressure to the outside, but the two favorites hook up towards 3/4. Lucrative Sun wide of Future King. These two are 3.5 clear of Style Spotlight chasing third. 3/4 in 1:30-2. Future King reclaims a narrow lead from Lucrative Sun, battling on the outside. Now 4-length separation from Style Spotlight third. Then the High Road holding on to fourth as they turn for home. An 1/8 of a mile to go. It's Future King still on top. Lucrative Sun chases second. Coming up towards third. Style Spotlight gaining ground, but a 16th to go. Future King holding sway. Lucrative Sun still there, but Future King holds on by a half length to win. Lucrative Sun narrowly second with Style Spotlight third. 2 minutes 2 3/5. Which 6-5 did you have? Either way, you had to have one of them. And
I had both.
Could have went after him early when he was rough gated. Instead, he let him settle down. But that's just my opinion.
Now, here's what I have to say, Mike. Even though you got second, I'm proud that you took a stand in that race. I
really don't care what you think.
I'm just trying to be supportive of my friend, of my amigo. Because he's always so supportive of me when I lose. I can always just laugh in your face if you'd like that.
Okay.
Ross, look at this bozo. He lost. It doesn't feel as good. I feel a hole in my heart when I do. It doesn't feel right. It feels like a bunch of trombones that are letting their bowels loose, just like what that sound.
Oh, we got a few shout-outs here. We got a few shout-outs. We got Terry Wilson.
If you give me the name, I'll
Mickey.
Terry Wilson, what up? He's having shout-outs.
Mickey Burke Jr.
Mickey Burke, what's up? These are shout-outs.
Daniel Kahn, don't actually shout him out. I'm doing them.
What do you
I
mean?
got it. I got it.
That's what the shout-out is.
My dad's watching. Daniel Kahn's watching.
Rod's dad, what's up? I'm doing a good job of this.
No, you're
Our
not.
special guest also just joined us while we're doing shout-outs. Who else we shouting out, Rod? Who else we shouting out?
The Parlay Queen is here.
Parlay Queen, what's up?
Well, she definitely improves the appearance around here, God knows. Between the three of us.
That's not hard, but thank you.
Yeah. We know. Trust us. We know.
I'm the main one you gotta get past, but I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Welcome, Monique. or also known as the Parlay Queen, to the show.
So did you give yourself that nickname, or did you earn it somehow?
I mean, nicknames are nicknames for a reason, so I think it was pretty earned.
Well,
what are you parlaying?
what kind of parlay? Basketball?
Basketball.
Please keep
Pretty
talking.
much anything you can bet.
Degenerate. Hey, she joined the crowd.
Now, Monique, I know from Twitter that you are kind of just betting everything. So, in terms of your forte, what you do best, would you say you're more of a general sports bettor or a horse bettor?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I've been betting horses a lot longer than I've been betting sports. But horse racing is tough. I mean, at the end of the day, sports betting, it's pretty much 50-50. You're picking a side. You have the option of pushing. So, I mean, as much as I'd want to say horse racing is my forte, I've been doing it a lot longer. But I'd say I'm a little bit better at sports betting. But, yeah.
No, that's a fine answer. I host a horse racing show, and I'll admit horse racing is not my favorite thing. But who in horse racing would actually say it's their favorite thing? Because after you lose a bet, it's your least favorite thing. Let's all be honest.
No.
You lose like $600.
No, see, it doesn't matter. I still love it. I love it even if I lose.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, if at the end of the day you're satisfied with your own hatred of something, that's true love. It's true love. And so, that's not what I imagine true love to sound like from any movie that I've ever seen, any Disney movie even. And let's be honest, that's the definition.
We ain't talking about love on here.
Because this is North American Love Update a month late. It's March.
Yeah, we ain't talking
Monique
about
having
it.
to jump on during the time we stopped talking about racing.
So you live in Canada. Can you guys bet on sports up there?
What did you say?
You live in Canada. Are you guys legally able to bet sports up there?
Yeah, it's well, I mean, most people I know bet online. We use pretty much Bet365 and Sports Interaction are the biggest. But yeah, at our convenience stores or anywhere where lottery's sold, you can do a couple sports picks. So it's like Pro Line is what we call it, and you can do spreads, totals, under overs, pretty much everything. So it is very convenient and actually too dangerously convenient and close. But yeah, it's good. It's common.
Wait, so I got spreads. I missed all of the other bets.
Whatever they'll allow you to bet, just place a little bit on each one. You're bound to win something, right?
That sounds like every time I go to Vegas.
That's also like how most people play slot machines, because there's no strategy to playing a slot machine. You're the total victim of the algorithm, so you have to play everything.
It's true. It's true. You just got to pick the right one and just pray. That's all you can really do. Or just keep feeding the machine eventually.
Yeah. Who cares if you're down 80 grand? You got a free soda out of it.
Stop! Don't say soda. It's not soda. It's pop.
Ron, we don't care about your Midwest dialect and your specific word choice of commodities.
Don't say soda. Soda's not a thing. Monique, what do you guys say up there?
We call it pop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because that is Canadian
we call it soda.
Yeah, it's soda. What do you know? What, from now on, I'm gonna call it carbonated beverage in spite, which is also that all time is my favorite carbonated beverage. Spite. It's a lemon lime soda and also filled with hatred.
Forgetting an R.
Nothing.
So what races are we talking about now?
All right, so that's coming up in 11 minutes. I wanted to ask you, Monique, because we were originally talking before the show. You left to go assemble a ticket. Did you actually do that?
I got very sidetracked. I had a basketball bet going, and my Raptors are beating Houston. So I was really, and then Houston made it close. So as much as I was trying to assemble a ticket, I got super distracted and failed miserably.
That's fair enough. That happens a lot with me too in horse racing, where it's like you're trying to bet one thing and then you miss every other bet you could have had because all the races go off at the exact same time. That's not a sling at any racetrack, but if you're listening racetracks, take it as a sling. Space out your races once in a while. But this 8th race at London is coming up. We just got through the first leg, and Mike's already out, which is all. Mike, that's really odd for you to be out so early in the sequence. I blame the fact that Mercury's in retrograde. Of course, that's always what I blame everything on, and that's probably why my life is going so well. In the second leg, though, I'm alive to the 3 and the 4. Rod's alive to the 2, 4, and the 1, 2, 4, and 6. You had the 1 for some reason. So I don't know if you even looked at the races at all beforehand, at least the London ones, or if your Raptors took up the entire time, because my Raptors are doing terribly.
Unfortunately, I didn't. To be honest, I was capping the thoroughbreds pretty much. I got really sidetracked into that too, and I probably shouldn't be saying that, but I know, huge faux pas. But to be honest, I didn't really have a chance to look over London.
Well, that's fine. Earlier beforehand, though, I think the direct quote was, "I didn't like anything there," and I said this out loud. I said, "I wish we had the choice to say that."
I mean, what are you gonna do? I've been doing a lot of thoroughbred handicapping, so I'm looking at like the big purses, and when I see something super small like 6,500, I get a little bit of anxiety. I'm not going to lie to you on that. So we got as far as looking at the purses.
So what thoroughbreds?
Days and bigger purses, stakes races only type things, or?
I try to focus on stakes races for the most part. I mean, that's where you're going to be seeing the most honest efforts. The pools are going to be biggest then, and yeah, that's pretty much my main focus. I'll try to find a single if I like one, and then go from there, build tickets around that way. But I do love the pick 4, pick 5. That's my bet of choice.
Now you go to Woodbine. You do go to Woodbine.
Again, because you thought you could ask a question when I could.
Yeah, stop talking. You go to Woodbine a lot. You watch the harness racing there. Do you go to Mohawk?
Yeah, Woodbine's about. I can get into the door in 15 minutes from where I live, so I go there, and then they have a really terrible casino as well, with terrible casino with all virtual games. They put in virtual roulette, which I don't know about that one, but yeah, Woodbine's really, really close. And then Mohawk is about 30 minutes away, so both are really close. Mohawk's a lot more fun. Obviously, you're a lot closer. It's more interactive, and I prefer that, but yeah, both are close enough to me.
You can't necessarily run onto the turf course of Woodbine to watch the horse races. I think
it's true.
I think they're opposed to that last time I tried it. But that said, that was also a good time to plug the fact that you work for Covers, correct? That's the organization you handicap for?
Yeah, Covers and America's Best Racing.
Oh, okay. They might be my friends in a little time too, but that's a whole other story we'll talk about in the future. But with Covers, you're not only their horse person though. You handicap just in general with Covers. That's just general sports betting.
Yeah, I do pretty much anything. The problem is, as much I do a horse racing video. I put it out once a week with my favorite 6 bets of the weekend. But to be honest, the stuff isn't really there. I mean, they have a forum which gets maybe 1 post a week for horse racing, but just the viewership is way too focused on sports. So, like more common sports like NFL, NBA, stuff like that. So, I mean, I do try to advertise horse racing as much as I can, but yeah, I do all their horse racing stuff, and then as many other sports I can really get my hands on.
Yeah, I actually tried to get I went out to Vegas. When was that? October? I did the show in Vegas.
Sounds right.
Yeah,
because it was the week of the International Trot.
Yeah, so I was going out to Vegas, and I had sent Teddy a message to ask him to come on the show, and his immediate reply was, "I know nothing about horse racing." And I'm like, "Oh, cool."
That's brilliant.
I'm like, "Cool, thanks, Teddy."
Well, the thing about Covers is it's been around a long time. I was looking at Covers back 20 years ago whenever I first started sports betting. It's been around forever, and it's legit. I mean, it's everything you want for sports. All you have to do is go right there, and it has everything.
I mean,
it's true. They do have pretty much everything. I'm trying to get a lot more of the, like, I've been doing stuff for esports too, which is like a totally different market. Honestly, just trying to find something that works. I bet esports occasionally. I literally do bet everything. You weren't kidding, right? But yeah, horse racing are one of those things where people are really into it. They don't know what to do on the big days, the derby days. They don't know what to do, so they're frantically looking for picks. But at the end of the day, I always tell people, now's the time to start paying attention, because now's the time you're going to see these horses that are going to be competing in the derby, competing in the Oaks. So get an early favorite, put in some futures. Everyone's putting futures in on every other sport, so why not? You're getting 20 to 1, 30 to 1, 100 to 1 on some choices. So, I mean, pay a little bit of attention to, if not anything, the 3-year-olds. That's my advice to people.
And that's something I noticed too, at least with my handicapping, is that last year, actually I probably shouldn't say this, but last year when I was handicapping, because I was under 18 at this point, my best performances were always in the Derby preps. Like, those are the races I can constantly nail, and they're always great prices. But if I'm handicapping a 16 claimer, I'm stupid. I'm the dumbest person on the face of this earth. I have no idea how anything works there. But for some reason, the stakes races they're always so much simpler to handicap than this dumb. I shouldn't say dumb, because we're sponsored by them. 15 claimer coming up in London.
That's funny. It's tough. You know, you never really know. The thing is, with the huge stakes races, you're going to see horses that if you get behind early, they're going to try. You know, you're going to ask a lot out of your horse. The purses are big enough, the incentive is there. Whereas if you break slow and in an 8,000 claimer, I mean, it is what it is. And then at the end of the day, in these claiming races in general, if there's a claim entered, are you really going to run the risk of your horse coming up lame at the end of the race and then losing the claim? Like, there's a lot of things behind it, which is why I tend to lean towards the bigger purses. But at the end of the day, I love standardbred racing. I grew up around it. That was the first thing I got into. So it's tough. It's tough to convince people to get on board with that specific form of racing. But I mean, I enjoy it.
I also wanted to say, too, regarding the esports, there's only one bet I can ever make with esports, and it's always on Adderall. But she gets it. You guys don't, because you don't know how computers work. But I guess since we also have you on before we're actually really going to dive into the pick fours and such, in terms of handicapping, everyone kind of has their angles that they look for in terms of betting either teams, players, whatever. For you, when you're looking at a race, what are the most important factors for you to determine what to do?
I always look to see if there's any type of noticeable change, whether it be a drop in class, move up in class, blinkers, huge jockey or driver upgrade. I always look for those things first. I mean, the public is really, certain ones the public are really on board with, but anything noticeable where, you know, for me, value is everything. I won't bet a race if I can't find value. And that's not to be said that you can't get value on a favorite. It's just perhaps change your base wager or something. But yeah, that's the number one thing I look for. And then just trying to find a horse at the odds that I deem as appropriate.
Well, you did just describe as betting, but I still appreciate the answer. And I'm pretty sure that's how Mike and Rod would say they would bet too. And somehow we all still play differently, which is a very interesting case study. I'm a psychologist now, apparently.
Yeah,
they're coming onto the track.
You played cheap.
What? And I played cheap. Well, that's because I'm not. I don't have. If I had the camera towards my pockets, you could see all the lint that I have instead of money, Rod.
Yeah, money's not real anymore.
I'm an actor. I'm broke.
Yeah. Aren't we all? We bet horses.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that as an actor, that gives me superiority in my poverty over you. It's a nice change of pace when Monique's here, because I actually know what I'm saying is funny.
Yeah, good audience.
Don't encourage him.
I appreciate it. I think it's funny. I find you very comical. I think you're a great actor.
Don't encourage him.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's just retarded in real life.
I mean, it's all a character because I'm doing a show. This is a show. It's not a program. There's nothing programmed. Well, actually, the panel on my back would say something differently, but it's all theatrical. At least it's supposed to be. Like
But it's actually real because you act
movie.
like this every day of your life.
Well, I mean, it's not my fault that I do. That's not my fault. I'm the character. That's the fault of my depression. North American psychiatry update.
Yeah, we're not doing that one.
But, well, yeah, that will be my single podcast where I go, what is happiness?
We do have to give another shout out real quick to Adriana Sorella, who's watching.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
I remember Adriano back from the days when Garnsdale was on here. I miss Garnsdale. Why'd you leave me, Garney? This race is coming up though at London in 0.
Garnsdale's probably watching right now on Twitter. I'm on Facebook.
Is he watching?
I'm sure he is. Why wouldn't he want to watch this show? You kidding me?
What else do you have to do on a Friday night?
Right.
I think Cheers is on TV Land.
What do we got in London?
Not like Cheers.
Well, it's Friday night. We got London, we got Meadowlands, we got Woodbine. I mean, there's a lot going on.
So I'm
Right,
live.
and then on
I'm live to 1246 right now at London.
I just knocked my water bottle over, so things aren't looking good for me. However, I'm alive to the 3 and the 4. The 3's 8-1. The 4 is 3-1. The 6, this crappy 6, is even money right now. I don't even know if you have the program open, Monique, or if you even have the program in general. Because then you could hop
I do have the program.
Oh, okay. So if you have any thoughts then on this race, please speak up. Because this even money favorite, Mike, Rod, and I agree.
So bad.
At least Mike and I agree, because Rod, you still use the favorite here.
Yeah.
That this is not the best horse to be making even money in this race. Coming off a 3-month layoff, and the qualifier itself, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a qualifier over an off track, and it was somewhat fast for an off track, but still, the layoff thing is a bit worrisome to me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's. I mean, this is just a weird race, honestly. There's a lot of different variables here that could play out in different ways. I mean, you can look at this race and not have any big opinion. I mean, I don't really have a big opinion on any of the 4 that I used. And Mike was going all here, weren't you, Mike?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm still looking and cannot find anything. I see nothing.
Maybe you should open up your program. That might help you see.
I'm looking at the program.
It's just not a good race. It's not a good race at all.
I mean, there have been better races.
I mean, this is one I'm just trying to get through, honestly.
I'm kind of interested in the 3PL Kaleidoscope at 8-1, just because, again, this is a bad race, and bad races could sometimes mean good prices.
I like everyone to back, but then last time she was just awful, just awful.
Monique, thoughts?
I'm looking. I see what you're saying with the layoff. I get that. I mean, 9 to 5 doesn't help even money, obviously.
Now 1 to 5.
1 to 5? Even worse. 1 to 5. Oh, great. Favorite probably wins. The favorite's going to be on the lead. I don't know. I hate to, first race chalk. It's a good start for me.
Yeah.
What can I say?
I'm a professional handicapper, so I think the horse that everyone agrees with is probably going to win this race. That happens to so many people.
I mean, it's tough to go against the 6. Obviously, it's tough to go against this horse, but you got to look for some value.
It's not that hard.
You have to look for some value. I like the 4 at 9-2 a little bit, and
Not a 3-1.
the 2 at 9-1 is a big price in my opinion.
The 3 at 12-1 is a good price. That's why he has my money. However, you will not hear it in the tone of my race call because I am a purely objective race caller. This is the 9th. It's the 8th Western Fair. It's coming into motion. 3 to 5 here on the 6. Amy Fout. Wait, that's the horse's name? I didn't even know this was the horse's name. We handicapped this race for how many minutes? Second choice at 5-2, the 4 Daenerys. Third choice at 7-1, the 1 Right Side Luella. This is the 8th from Western Fair, turning into the stretch. Approaching the start. 7 of them in line. At the gate, they're off. Amy Fowler launching from the outside. PL Kaleidoscope from the center. Up from the inside, then Bright Side Luella into that first turn, trying to get the front. Amy Fowler from PL Kaleidoscope to the inside, who claims command as they move on towards the backstretch and to the opening quarter. PL Kaleidoscope, 12-1, leads the way. Amy Fowler second, getting away third. Daenerys, it's a gap of 3.5 back to Bright Side Luella, fourth. Fifth then as they move on down the backstretch. Comes a funny feeling then in front of Good News Writer and Eat 'em Up Cassandra. 28 seconds, the opening panel. And on the lead here, PL Kaleidoscope by 2 1/4. Amy Fowler reeling in second at 2-5. A gap of 3.5 back to Daenerys in third. Another gap of 4. Brightside Luella's fourth. Turning into the stretch first time, PL Kaleidoscope off the rail a touch in front. Amy Fowler still second, gap slightly. Third still Daenerys, but now 4 lengths off of the favorite, off a 57-2 clip, 29-2 that second quarter, and PL Kaleidoscope is flying around that clubhouse turn to the back stretch. PL Kaleidoscope, Amy Fowler getting the 2-hole trip second, now up to the leader's helmet as they move on to the back stretch and towards 3/4. Daenerys is then the closest threat in third, a gap of 4.5 to Brightside Luella fourth, and there's going to be 3 of them in contention here to the 3/4 pole. It's PL Kaleidoscope, Amy Fowler yet to pull from second, now given the cue from Stewart. 1:27-2 the 3/4 time, 30 seconds around that final turn. PL Kaleidoscope now faced by Amy Fowler, who's within a neck of the lead. Daenerys angles off the rail in third with 2 lengths to make up as they turn for home. Amy Fowler with a narrow advantage on PL Kaleidoscope as now she takes the lead. It's Amy Fowler striding clear from PL Kaleidoscope second. Daenerys towards the center of the track, rallying late, but coming to the line, it's Amy Fowler hopping and winning. Second, then Daenerys from PL Kaleidoscope in 2 minutes flat.
I love how my feed started buffering at the 3/4 pole. That was cool.
I know you were so happy that
they were rolling right by.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Wow. So
whatever. I'm still alive.
Yay!
I was excited at the top of the stretch. I thought my 17-1 was going to wire him, but then the favorite finally decided to go. 6-4-3. And I also noticed during the call, I was about to call you Rachel for some reason. Monique grabbed her clout goggles.
I needed them. I needed to fit in. I needed to channel.
Oh, yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah, see? I heard that you hit a pick 5 last week, so, I mean, I got to take your lead somehow.
There we go. Mike's out. Mike's out.
Are those like female aviators then?
I mean, they're just pink, so they went with the outfit. They were close by. I just grabbed them. I mean, I had to fit in, right? I didn't know. I didn't get the memo on glasses.
I mean, as a person who clearly fits in on this show, you're right. 2-5, 4-1, 17-1, 9-1 then. 6-4, 3-2, and that 8th from London. We're going to be rolling into more handicapping.
A lot more.
With our guest, Parlay. Right? I know, it's such a surprise. The first hour is meant to be fun, Rod. How long have you been doing this show for? Feels like 20 years with you. But I got rude all of a sudden. Now it turns into a musical. So we have what? Well, we're going to break soon. Rod, you are clenching to life with that sound effect. As your professional medical care provider, I would suggest that you move on. Move on to bigger, brighter sounds.
How's that?
Rod, I think you're a 4-year-old.
Don't care.
That's just my professional opinion. As a licensed physician. I sometimes lose track where the camera.
Will you go to break already? Don't nobody want to listen to you babble.
I was going to recap after the funny little bit I did, so let me do my thing. Thank you! Okay, so enough of being a jerk. So the six wins the second leg of the Pick 4 at London. The results are official. Rod's the only one left alive in this Pick 4 when we come back with more North American Harness update. We have the early Pick 4 from Woodbine to talk about, the late Pick 4 from the Meadowlands, and the remainder of this Pick 4 from Western Fair Raceway, the District, London Town. It's something like that. So more harness racing action to cover here on North American Harness Update, rolling into hour number 2, and we hope that you stick around for hour.
Hi, my name is Ray
number
Cotolo,
2.
and you may know me from the such projects as... You may also know me as the host of the internet's favorite harness handicapping show, North American Harness Update, which I host with these two guys, Mike Prebosi and Rod Adams Jr. Every Friday from 9 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us talking harness, handicapping harness, and most importantly, having fun with harness. Can we please get this stuff out of my face? Thank you! North American Harness Update, Fridays from 9 on SRN1. Also download Often Pacing and using promo code NAHU200K, start your stable with an additional 200,000 coins. You can also catch show archives and racing analysis over at our website, NAHUPicks.com!